The containment chamber hissed open, releasing centuries of frozen air into the sterile atmosphere of the Galactic Council's research vessel. Dr. Vexithar, a slender Quillian with iridescent scales, watched the vital monitors with 3 of his eyes while the 4th tracked his assistant's nervous movements. "Thaw cycle complete," announced Nurse Krill, her chitinous fingers dancing across the holographic interface. "Neural activity. By the ancients, it's extraordinary. His synapses are firing at rates we've never recorded." The human inside the cryopod stirred. His name, according to the ancient Earth records, was Marcus Chen, a soldier from the pre-collapse era, over 800 years ago. The Council had discovered his pod drifting in the Terminus sector, perfectly preserved, a relic from humanity's golden age before their mysterious disappearance from the galactic stage. Marcus's eyes snapped open. Not the gradual flutter of awakening that most species experienced after cryosleep, but an immediate predatory alertness. Dr. Vexthar took an involuntary step backward. "Where am I?" Marcus's voice was rough from disuse but carried an edge that made the translation device hesitate before processing his words. "You're safe," Vexthar said, raising his manipulator appendages in what his cultural database assured him was a calming gesture. "You're aboard the Council vessel Harmonious Inquiry. You've been in cryosleep for 817 standard cycles." Marcus sat up slowly, his muscles responding with a fluidity that shouldn't have been possible after such prolonged stasis. Most species required weeks of physical therapy. The human was already rotating his shoulders, testing his range of motion. 800 years, Marcus repeated, his expression unreadable. "Then the war is over." "War?" Krill chittered nervously. "Humanity abandoned their colonies 3 centuries before your pod was launched. There are no records of any conflict." Something flickered across Marcus's face, surprise, then calculation, then a carefully neutral mask. "I see, and why did you wake me?" Vexthar consulted his data slate, uncomfortable under the human's steady gaze. "The Council believed humanity might return. We hoped you could provide insight into your species' capabilities, their location, their intentions." "My species' capabilities," Marcus echoed. He stood, and despite being shorter than Vexthar, seemed to fill the chamber with his presence. "You want to know what humans can do?" "For peaceful purposes, naturally," Vexthar assured him. "The Council maintains." The ship shuddered. Alarms screamed through the corridors. "Proximity alert," a voice barked through the intercom. "Unknown vessels emerging from slip space. Configuration matches Krathi raiders. All personnel to battle stations." Vexthar's scales paled to translucent white. The Krathi were the scourge of this sector. Brutal, efficient, and numerous. A single research vessel stood no chance. Marcus was already moving toward the door. "I need weapons." "Absolutely not," Vexthar said, his fear overridden by procedure. "You're a research subject, not a soldier." "The security team will—" Another impact rocked the ship. Sparks erupted from an overhead conduit. "How many security personnel?" Marcus asked. 12, Krill whispered. "Against Krathi raiders?" Marcus's laugh was cold. "You have minutes before they board. Now I'll ask again, where do you keep weapons?" Something in his tone made Vexthar's decision for him. He pointed toward a locker on the far wall. "Plasma rifles. But they're calibrated for Quillian physiology. A human couldn't possibly—" Marcus had the locker open before Vexthar finished speaking. He pulled out 2 rifles, checked their charge packs with practiced efficiency, and adjusted the grip configurations with his bare hands that bent reinforced polymers like soft clay. "Impossible," breathed Krill. "Those require hydraulic tools to modify." Marcus didn't respond. He was already moving into the corridor. His enhanced neural implants, military-grade augmentations from humanity's war era, processing tactical data faster than the ship's own combat computer. The Krathi breached the hull 3 decks below. 30 raiders, each standing 7 feet tall with natural armor plating and razor-sharp claws. They tore through the security team in under a minute. Then they met Marcus. Later, when Vexthar reviewed the security footage, he would watch it dozens of times, trying to understand what he'd witnessed. Marcus moved through the Krathi like a ghost, like death itself wearing human skin. He used angles the raiders couldn't track, exploited blind spots their predator eyes shouldn't have had, and fired with an accuracy that suggested he could predict their movements before they made them. But it wasn't just skill. When a Krathi managed to land a blow that should have shattered ribs, Marcus absorbed it, rolled with the impact, and used the momentum to throw the creature into its companions. When another tried to flank him, Marcus spun and caught its descending claws with his bare hand and crushed them. The Krathi began to retreat. Warriors who'd never known fear suddenly understood it intimately. 15 minutes after the boarding began, it was over. 28 Krathi dead. 2 escaped to their ships, which fled before Marcus could reach the hangar. Marcus returned to the research deck, not even breathing hard. Vexthar and his team stared at him in horrified silence. "What are you?" Vexthar finally managed. Marcus set down the plasma rifles, now depleted. "You asked about humanity's capabilities. In the final days before the collapse, we knew we couldn't win through numbers or technology, so we evolved. Genetic engineering, neural augmentation, combat conditioning from birth." He looked at his hands, flexing fingers that had crushed alien bone like dry wood. "They called us Reapers. We were humanity's answer to extinction. But the records said humanity abandoned violence, embraced peace." "The records lie," Marcus interrupted softly. "We didn't disappear because we wanted peace. We disappeared because we became too dangerous, even to ourselves. The decision was made to scatter, to sleep, to let the galaxy forget what we were capable of becoming." Krill's voice was barely audible. "And now you're awake." Marcus looked at them for a long moment. "Yes, now I'm awake. And somewhere out there, if you found one pod, someone will find others. Hundreds of others." He walked to the viewport, staring into the star-filled darkness. "You wanted to know humanity's intentions, Doctor. Here's your answer. We're coming back. And the galaxy isn't ready for what we've become." Vexthar watched the human's reflection in the viewport, seeing not a man, but a prophecy of violence to come. The Council had sought answers. Instead, they'd awakened a nightmare, and Marcus Chen was only one soldier among thousands still sleeping in the void.